I guess getting back to the whole societal thing of coming out, we tend to think of love as something that involves individuals. But love really needs to become a principle of our societies if they are to be as healthy as they need to be, if they are to function as well as they can. You can't have second-class citizens.
Right.
Love, real love, as has often been said, is unconditional. It's not about the identity of the person, it's not about the context in which it occurs, it's simply about love, period.
And if one person or group of people isn't free, none of us are free. The ability to be able to get that and to see that larger sense of community.
I have a very difficult time envisioning love as coexisting with slavery. I'm realizing that there at times in history have been societal institutions of slavery. That's not the slavery I'm talking about. The slavery I'm talking about is where you have to be what somebody else wants you to be. You do not have the freedom to be yourself. You do not have the freedom to speak your mind. You do not have the freedom to make your own choices.
Fundamental rights.
Fundamental, going back to our founding documents. And now here I am blanking on the very first word. We hold these truths to be self-evident. To be self-evident that all men, meaning all people, at that time the language meant all people, are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That much.
What if we lived that? What if our
just
laws reflected that?
Would be such an incredible place to start.
It would be amazing. To have that wisdom be at the beginning of us, of our history as a country, and sometimes we're so far from that, and we were back then.
Well, and of course the pursuit of happiness includes the freedom to come out, the freedom to tell you who I am, not in a way that communicates there's anything wrong with it, not in an apologetic tone of voice, and not with a chip on my shoulder like I dare you to say something bad about it, but simply to disclose it to you as, and view you as a person who can be trusted with this information, so that we can have a more mutually empowering relationship, whether we're members of the same family, whether we're co-workers, whether we're members of the same church. We can conduct ourselves from that point on with greater sensitivity and with greater understanding.
And greater depth of relationship.
And greater depth. To understand when we make an invitation at church for some big event, everybody bring the one you love. Instead of saying everybody bring your husband, your wives, whatever, to say everyone bring the one you love. The one around whom you build your life. To understand that it's not just about sex, it's about wholeness. And that wholeness is not just an individual thing, it's something that's a societal thing.
It is. Yep, it's both. It's our individual wholeness is what allows us to have that strength to come out. And society's wholeness is the part that needs to support
Society's
that.
wholeness is what gives us a safe space in which to come out. Because if that safe space isn't there, like you were saying, if there's anyone who's not free, then none of us are truly free.
Right.
It's not. There's no true double standard at the level of relationships.
Right.
You cannot treat one person one way and another person another way without having the mud of that incongruity on your hands at all times. It's by creating freedom for you, I create freedom for myself. By creating justice for you, I create justice for myself.
And the willingness to take a stand for oppressed groups. I don't remember the full scope of the...
Pastor Niemöller.
What's that?
They came for the...
Yes. Oh, well, you knew what I was going to say.
Yes.
They came for the Jews and...
They came for the Jews, and I wasn't a Jew, so I said nothing. And they came for the communists, and I wasn't a communist, so I said nothing.
Yes.
There's been a number of paraphrases of it, but it all comes down to the final line of, and finally they came for me, and there was no one left to speak up.
Yes.
And in the case of Pastor Niemöller, they were talking about the oppression of the Nazis during World War II. That they started eliminating every group who disagreed with them, and finally there was no one left to disagree.
Right.
Which is where, you know, gay and lesbian people, people with disabilities, people in drag, people from other ethnicities, other nations, all of us in different contexts are kind of like the canary in the mine.
Yep.
The miners in times past would take a canary in a bird cage with them down into the mine because the canary was very sensitive to the air quality in the mine. And if the canary died, they knew that there was poison gas and it was time to get out. When, you know, that's the whole point of marginalized people. If anyone is marginalized, or any marginalized population, if they are being oppressed, there is something that is threatening the very foundations of our society, and we may not realize it.
And no one wants to volunteer to be the miner's canary.
No one wants to be the canary, but it's important that the canaries be there. And that when the canaries are there, they're cared for, and they're protected, because they're important. And when they sing a particular song to communicate to us that something is wrong, we had better well listen.
Yes.
So when somebody comes out, it's a step of growth that is saying there's context here that makes this important. And I need some constructive response to this. And society needs to constructively respond to it. And when society does, we will all be better and richer for it.
Absolutely.
Any final comments as we wind up our wonderful discussion?
No, I appreciate us being able to talk about it. It's important stuff for
Well,
all of us.
hopefully everyone who's been watching has something they can contemplate and reflect on for a while.